I think most of us would agree if there was a magic wand specifically for packing, it would be a billion-dollar business. Deciding what and how to pack is easily one of the biggest headaches of traveling. In today's video, I've pulled together 4 of my most popular packing tips videos to create a sort of masterclass for you. You'll learn the secrets of packing cubes, strategies for one bag packing, the 3 kits that you're always going to want in your personal item bag, and finally, the oh shit kit, which is the little bag that has saved so many of my trips. You can watch it straight through or use the timestamps in the description below to jump to what you might need right now. I promise you, no one is going to judge you. Let's go. First up, did you know there's a right way to pack packing cubes? Hey y'all, and welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm Christy, the Gen X Gypsy, and boy, am I ever so happy to be making this video for you today. Let's start off with what a packing cube is and the differences between various types of packing cubes. My personal definition of a packing cube is any flexible container that can close up either with a zipper, Ziploc, or even Velcro that will basically contain whatever you put in it. These can be the plastic vacuum bags, 2 or 3 gallon Ziploc bags, the nylon bags that are sold specifically as packing cubes, or my favorite, and I think the best overall for travel, are the compression packing cubes. What differentiates the compression packing cubes from all of the rest is the use of 2 zippers. One zipper is used to actually close the packing cube. Then the second zipper is used to literally compress as much air out of the packing cube and the items within the cube as possible, so you can make that package smaller so it takes up less space in your luggage. Now, the plastic vacuum bags work in a similar way, only you are usually rolling the air out of the bag, or sometimes you are actually using a pump vacuum to remove the air. I have 3 reasons why I don't particularly like the vacuum compression bags. Number 1 is that you have to carry the vacuum pump with you when you travel so that you can compress everything again when you are ready to pack to come home. The second reason is that I find that the plastic material breaks down after not that many uses, and then it's no longer going to keep the extra air out of the bag. And finally, I find that clothing gets so much more wrinkled in those plastic bags. Today, we're going to be working with my favorite compression packing cubes from 2 different brands. And just to be clear, this video is not sponsored by either brand, but I do love them both. The first is Epica's Trip Cozy compression cubes. They come in sets of 4 and 6 with a variety of different sizes that work well with a carry-on and check size suitcase, but really well with a carry-on. The second brand is Tripped Travels compression packing cubes that come in a set of 6 with 4 compression cubes, a laundry bag, and a shoe bag. Oh, and you are going to want to stay until the end of this video to find out how you might be able to score a 6-piece set of Epica Trip Cozy compression cubes for yourself. Hey, Editing Christy here. I just want to point out that I am aware that I have lipstick on my teeth, and there is going to be lipstick on my teeth throughout the rest of this video because did not realize it was there when I started editing this video hours and hours and hours ago, or when I was filming. I will try to do much better in the future and make sure I don't have lipstick on my teeth. So anyway, my apologies. Back to the video. For years, I was told that rolling your clothes was the best way to pack efficiently. And as I started to use compression cubes, I thought rolling was still the best way to pack those. But it ends up I was wrong. After lots of trips and trial and error of different packing methods from the Army fold, the KonMari method, the random fold and rolls, I finally found a way that works the best with the compression cubes. I'm calling it the fold to fit method. It's super simple, and I can't believe it took me this long to figure it out. I'm going to show you how it works with both styles of compression cubes. We're going to use some bigger clothing in the Epica compression cubes and smaller, lighter items for the Tripped Travel cubes. We are going to start packing the thicker clothes into the Epica compression packing cube first. And one of the reasons that I picked the Epica compression packing cube for bulkier items and thicker items is because the bags themselves are thicker. They have a deeper inset than the Trip Travel cubes do. The Trip Travel cube is just a little bit more narrow, and they're a little bit of a thinner material. The Epica is a pretty sturdy, heavier material. If weight is a concern to you, two things. You do need to be really careful about overpacking your compression packing cubes because that can add a lot of weight to your luggage. So you don't want to cram everything that can fit into your compression packing cubes because the more you add, the more weight that you are adding to your luggage. And then the second item is when you really get down to the nitty-gritty of weight, the Epica compression packing cubes are heavier than the Trip Travel. So the Trip Travel cubes are, if you have a huge concern on weight and you need to pack much lighter, I would choose the Trip Travel cubes over the Epica cubes purely for weight reasons. Otherwise, they're extremely similar. Okay, I'm gonna readjust how I'm sitting here. Okay, so we are going to, I have two sets of clothes here that I picked out, very simple. Each one has a pair of pants, a top, and a pair of pajamas, just to make it very simple. So I'm going to do the heavy set first. And I have a pair of jeans. So we are going to, let's make sure that you can see what I am doing here. So we're going to open up the cube and I can't quite get how I need to sit here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the jeans and we are going to fold them to the size of the cube. So I just did like a three-fold. We're all learning together here, folks. So I'm going to fold it like that and then like that. And that pretty much makes those jeans fit perfectly inside the cube. See? No extra space around the pants at all. They fit exactly right. So now we're going to do the same thing with the sweater. And sometimes you're going to have pieces of clothing that you might have to play around with how you are going to get them to fold so that they fit exactly the size of the compression packing cube, because it's not going to be like a normal fold, but it will save you in the long run. So we are just going to fold it like that. And there you go. It fits right perfectly in there. And now we're going to do the same thing with the pajamas. Oh, okay, I cannot sit like that. Ugh. Whew. I did yoga yesterday and boy, my legs are killing me. So sitting on the floor like that is not very comfortable. I kind of gonna lay these in the cube and then just kind of drape them until they fit. So pajamas are in like that. And lastly, we have the pajamas shirt, which again, I'm going to fold over on the sides and bring that up into here. Oops. Not as worried about the pajamas getting wrinkled, right? So there you have it. So everything is in there. And now we are going to zip up the cube. You could probably add another shirt, maybe even a couple of two thin t-shirts in there if you wanted to. But you, like I said before, you want to be a little cautious about making your packing cubes too heavy with too many clothing items in there because then your luggage starts to get really heavy really quickly. And then we're going to zip up the compression zipper part of the compression cubes. And you do have to kind of squeeze it tight because you are trying to get all the air out of it to get it to close. And there you go. All done. And look how thin that is now. And I love that both sets that I'm showing you today have the mesh so that you can see what is actually inside the cube when you are looking through stuff in your suitcase. So there are the heavy items in there. So it's really a simple, I mean, I cannot believe it took me so long to learn this way of folding things into the compression packing cubes because it is so simple. Now, this was more of a square size. The Trip Travel, oops, let's pull this back here. The Trip Travel cube is more of a rectangle. So you're gonna have to use slightly different folding methods. And the other I don't really want to call it an issue, but it makes it a little more challenging to pack in the trip travel packing cubes, is that the top does not unzip all the way. It's kind of like a 3/4, maybe only really a half zip. That's like a half corner zip. So it's a little harder to do the folding inside the actual compression packing cube like I did with the Epica one. So we are gonna start with the pants. I just have my pair of super lightweight Athleta travel pants here, and I'm gonna estimate how I need to fold them to slide them into the packing cube. So I think that, and then lay that in there, that looks about right. So we're gonna slide those in. There we go. I don't know if you can see. So they fit nicely. There's no extra room around the edges there. And then I have just another nice lightweight t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt. And we are going to look and see how best this is gonna. So I think we're gonna do this. We'll fold the arms in and then fold it about, we'll fold the bottom up about the depth of the packing cube. So we'll do this, and that fits in there very nicely. I'll show you that so it doesn't fall out. And lastly, I have a pair of bamboo pajamas from Quince, one of my favorites. I think they were out of stock because these are the shorty bamboo pajamas. Oh, so comfortable. When they come back in for summer, I am definitely getting myself another pair of these. So because these are about the size of the packing cube, we're just gonna put them in like that. And lastly, the top to the pajamas, again, it is, when you lay it this way, it's about the right size. So we're gonna fold it over. Nope, that's not gonna work. So what we're gonna do is when it's folded in half, it's about the same width of the packing cube. So we'll just fold the arms in and we will fold the top down until it hits where it is the same size as the packing cube. And then put that in like that. You do have to adjust it to the size of the packing cube. You can't just take your folded clothes and put your folded clothes into the packing cube, because you want to make sure that you're using all the little bits of space in your compression packing cube in order to get the most efficiency out of your packing cubes. If you leave all this space in there, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, because then you could have like packed another shirt or maybe another, pair of pants, some socks, another scarf, lots of things. You want to be really efficient with the use of your space. So we have everything packed in there, and now I'm going to zip this one up too. And again, I probably could have put in another couple of items. In fact, it is pretty loose. I definitely could have added another shirt or two in here, maybe a jacket, maybe a merino wool jacket, but especially when you pack like this, where you are folding the clothes so they fit the exact parameters of the cube, you can get more stuff in the packing cubes. If I were packing for a trip, I would absolutely add at least one more shirt or another pair of pants in here, if not 2 shirts in here. And there you go. That is what I have found to be the best way to pack your compression packing cubes to get the most use out of them when you are traveling. I also find when I pack this way that my clothes don't get as wrinkled and like scrunched up as they do if I'm, even rolling clothes, I find, because you roll them and then they get mushed down into the compression packing cube. And I have found that the rolling of the clothes, I think, especially some polyester fibers and stuff like that, get more wrinkled. So if you're traveling, especially this summer, if you're traveling to Europe and you're going to be taking a lot of cotton, linen items, I would try this method of packing your compression packing cubes rather than rolling. The KonMari works okay, but again, if you're not using all of the space in the compression packing cube, you're leaving extra space where you could have put something else. Like I said, I've been using this method for about a year now, and I find that my clothes are a lot less wrinkled and store way better during travel. But I am curious if you have any more suggestions on how to pack the compression cubes more efficiently. Let us know in the comments below. We are always learning from each other. Next, let's get into those one bag packing strategies. Generally speaking, I think that packing for winter travel can be the most difficult with all the bulky sweaters, jackets, boots, all that stuff. It's just plain hard to fit everything into one bag. But with airfare prices rising and the cost of checking a bag adding to those prices, it's worth following these strategies so that you can fit everything you need into just one or maybe two small bags. So we'll start with strategy number one, which is shifting your mindset. Before you even start picking out the first piece of clothing, you need to shift how you think about what you want to pack. If you're used to traveling with a large checked-in suitcase, switching over to a small carry-on bag or just traveling with a personal item bag only, it can feel overwhelming, but I know that you can do it. The first hurdle to overcome is the just in case mentality. We have all been there. We've thrown in that extra pair of shoes or an extra sweater or maybe some going out outfits just in case. And you have seen me do this on my channel with my pack and unpack with me videos. But the reality is that most of those just in case items never actually get used. Before you pack an item, ask yourself, have I ever really needed this on a trip? And if the answer is no, that's easy. You just leave it out. If the answer is sometimes, see if you can find another multi-purpose alternative. For winter, this might mean choosing a packable puffy jacket instead of a woolen pea jacket or an overcoat, or choosing a cashmere cardigan instead of multiple sweaters. The second mindset shift, and probably this is the hardest one for me, is embracing the re-wearing of the same clothes over and over again and getting much more creative with small and lightweight accessories to kind of jazz up the same outfits so that I like to feel like I'm wearing something different. If you start to feel like you're struggling with these mindset shifts, it is good to keep in mind the benefits of one bag packing beyond just the financial savings. Having less stuff with you means easier packing, no waiting at baggage claim, more mobility, and generally just a lot more freedom to enjoy your journey. Moving on to strategy number two, which is choosing the right type of clothing material. When it comes to packing light in the wintertime, the thing that is going to make the biggest difference is picking the right materials to pack. You want items that are going to be lightweight, pack down well, and of course, keep you warm. Natural materials are the superstars of winter packing. Think about materials like cashmere, silk, bamboo, and merino wool. Their merino wool pieces are incredibly thin and lightweight, which makes them perfect for layering in a fall or winter capsule. I absolutely love their long sleeve shirts to wear when it's chilly outside because I stay warm without feeling like I'm wearing a lot of bulk. Unbound has come out with some new colors and patterns, and I'm loving this navy striped top that I'm wearing today because it does help to add some variety to the travel capsule wardrobe. And this ribbed turtleneck top I think is just gorgeous. It's so easy to dress up or down. Now I know some of you have expressed that you have issues with merino wool irritating your skin in the past. And I also have sensitive skin, but because Unbound uses super fine merino wool, the clothing feels, well, silkier and softer than a lot of the other merino brands. And they're even softer than a lot of my cotton shirts that I wear. Because merino wool adapts easily to the temperature changes, you're still going to be comfortable whether you're walking around in the snow outside or you happen to be getting cozy inside by the fire drinking maybe some hot chocolate. Moving on to strategy number three, taming your shoeaholic tendencies. And maybe that's not you, but it is definitely me. And this means limiting yourself to only 2 pairs of shoes. There is one exception that might allow for a third pair of shoe, but I will get to that in just a bit. Surprisingly, I honestly think it is a little bit easier to choose your 2 pair of shoes for winter packing than it is any other time of year. With one of the pairs of shoes being a flat or low-heeled boot or bootie, that's going to cover you for almost everything you might be doing while traveling. As a second pair, you could add in some leather sneakers or more of a trainer style shoe if you're going to be doing more athletic activities like hiking. Personally, I would opt for a waterproof Chelsea boot because it will go with everything and is appropriate for almost every occasion except for maybe a fancy night out. And in that case, I would bring a pair of foldable ballet flats as my third pair of shoes. So if you really wanted more footwear choices, I would pick a bootie, a sneaker, and add the ballet flats because they take up so little space. And then you are absolutely ready for anything. Strategy number 4 is to minimize your toiletries, especially liquids, which are one of the biggest space wasters in packing. If you are only bringing a personal item or carry-on, your liquids have to fit in that tiny TSA-approved quart-size bag. And if you are flying budget airlines, you definitely don't want to waste space on bulky bottles. The key to simplifying your toiletries: downsize, swap, and edit. When it comes to downsizing, make sure that you are only packing what you really need for your trip. If you're only going to be going for 5 days, you do not need a full 3.4 ounces of moisturizer. I'd suggest a week or two before your trip that you decant what you think you might need to use for that time and do a trial run for those 5 days at home. I find that for 2 weeks or less, I can fit most of my skincare into contact lens cases, which take up so much less space than a full travel size bottle. I also really like these travel bottles that lay flat when they are empty. They are such great space savers. Secondly, consider swapping your liquids for solid alternatives. For me, this looks like swapping out my liquid face cleanser for these Oil of Olay cleansing melts. And something that works similar to the cleansing melts are these shampoo and conditioners by Gems. They are just fantastic. Lastly, do a realistic edit of the toiletries you want to bring. Instead of bringing a separate foundation, just bring a tinted sunscreen because, yes, you still need sunscreen in the wintertime. Also, make sure you check to see if your accommodations are going to supply things like a hair dryer, shampoo, and conditioner. And remember, most places that you are traveling to, you will be able to buy things once you are there. And by the way, I am working on I'm excited about this video coming up. It's a DIY mini toiletry packing video that's going to be coming out soon. So if you don't want to miss it, make sure that you're subscribed. Definitely hit that notification bell so that you don't miss it, because YouTube's been a little finicky lately. So I don't want you to miss that one. It's going to be a great video, I hope. I'm really hoping it's going to be a great video. And that brings us to strategy number 5, and it's kind of a combination strategy, and it is to wear your bulkiest items on your travel day and then utilize the storage areas on your outerwear if you are really limited on baggage. As you're going to see here in this particular packing scenario, I've layered my trench coat over my packable puffy jacket, both of which have pockets that I can store things in if I'm truly limited to bringing just one bag on the plane. In fact, the packable puffy has this interior pocket that's big enough for me to slide my Kindle into. So if I have my phone, my wallet, my passport, earbuds, and Kindle all stored in my pockets, I really won't need to get anything out of my bag during the flight. Now, let's get into the pieces I have chosen for this capsule wardrobe, and I'll show you how I fit it all into one bag. For our bottoms, we've got jeans, these Unbound Merino lounge pants, and a silk skirt. For the tops, it's this navy striped sweater, the Unbound Merino ribbed turtleneck, a black cashmere cardigan, the Unbound Merino ribbed top, a graphic tee, a very fun graphic tee, and then this silk halter top that goes with that silk skirt. Then we've got a variety of accessories like some tights, some colorful socks, a burgundy knit hat with a scarf, matching scarf, and then some other scarves and extra purse straps and belts to help broaden the capsule out and make it a little more creative. And then for the shoes, we have the Chelsea boots and the foldable ballet slippers. For our travel day outfit, we are going to use our heaviest items and layer everything up so that we have more space in our bag. So I am wearing the jeans, the boots, the graphic tee, cardigan, the puffy jacket, and the trench coat. Now, once you get on the plane, you could take that puffy jacket off, and because it is a packable puffy, you could pack it down into its own pouch and kind of hook it on the outside of your bag if you wanted to not have so much bulk on you while you were flying. But to get on the plane, I think this is the best way to do it in order to save space in your bag. And, you know, it'll keep you warm too. As you can see, with just 3 bottoms and 6 tops, you can create so many, probably over 20 or 30 outfits. And if you get really, really creative, I'm sure you could come up with a lot more. Using this 3-kit strategy in my personal item bag has saved me so much stress. In today's video, I am super excited to share the 3 different kits that I put together in my personal item bag, no matter how long the flight is going to be. So whether I'm going on a 3-hour flight from North Carolina to Miami, or I'm going on a 30-hour flight from North Carolina to South Africa, some variation of each of these kits is going to be in my personal item bag. That being said, each of these kits are going to change a little bit depending on the length of the flight, but I wanted to give you the basics of these kits today. So we're going to start with the first kit that I always put in my personal item bag, and that is my Freshen Up kit. And I thought I would just show you the Freshen Up kit that I had in my personal item bag for the flight here to Puerto Rico this time. In fact, everything I'm going to show you in this video is going to pertain to the flight that I took on the way down here, because that's what I have with me. But I'll also give you some ideas of other things that you might want to add or perhaps even take out of each of these kits if you're going on a shorter or perhaps a longer flight. I just used this little bag that I have that is part of the Trip Travel toiletry set kit that I have talked about for years now. And I love it. I use it all the time. And I especially love this little clear bag that comes as part of the kit. I have used this as my Freshen Up kit bag for probably a couple of years now. So let's go over what is actually in here. So the first thing that I have in here are my Clorox wipes that I use to wipe down the plane, the tray table, the armrest, the headrest behind me, all of the things in the plane when I get on. So, you know, to help prevent possibly catching any colds that might be lingering on the plane. The next thing I have are some little mini hand sanitizer packets. I have some little mini toothbrushes. So these are perfect for those long flights or overnight flights, and you get in, maybe you have a layover before you catch your next flight, but you've been on a plane for like 5 hours and your mouth just is disgusting. Having these little mini toothbrushes is really nice to freshen up your mouth. For the same situation, I have a couple of deodorant wipe packets so that you can, you know, freshen up those pits if you want to. Of course, I have some eye drops because our eyes get dry and red when we are flying. I have a little shout packet. This is something new that I have added because I have had multiple incidences where either I have spilled coffee on myself, or I've had the person next to me spill coffee because turbulence does happen. I've also spilled coffee on myself in the airport because I'm just that clumsy. So I've decided that I definitely need to start carrying around either some shouts, or sometimes I'll have a Tide pin in here, but these actually take up a little less space than the Tide pins do. So I do like these little shout pouches. I have Kleenex, because inevitably I get on those airplanes and my nose starts to run from all that recirculated air. So I always have Kleenex with me handy, because blowing your nose on those napkins that the flight attendants give you, oh yeah, it's not very comfortable, is it? I have a little hair tie in case my hair is getting crazy or I just want to get it out of the way. And this one's like a thicker one, so I can use it as a scrunchie, you know, put my hair up in like a loose bun, or I can just use it as a ponytail holder. I also have these little Listerine breath strips because after drinking all that coffee or being in the air for so long, having something, if you don't have the opportunity to brush your teeth with the little toothbrush, this is the next best option to freshen up your breath. And the Listerine obviously helps to kill some of the bacteria in your mouth too. So they're just really, really handy. And this thing is so tiny. It takes up way less space than like a little packet of mints do. I have my little pill holder. So this thing holds, I think I'm out of ibuprofen right now. I've used all my ibuprofen, but I've got my Dramamine. Usually I have ibuprofen in here. I have some Imodium. My daily, oh my gosh, I need something right now, kind of over-the-counter medications go in this little pill holder. It's super slimline and doesn't take up a lot of space. And when it's not in my Freshen Up kit, this is something that I carry around with me all the time. I also have this solid hand lotion that I got. I'm not sure if this is still available. This is a honeysuckle and it smells oh so good. Oh gosh, it really does smell good. It's a solid and you just, you know, pull the bar out and you wipe it on your hands. We just get so dry when we're flying. It's nice to have something to add a little moisture to our hands. My cuticles get super dry, so I like being able to put that on there. I just love this stuff. Now there's another option out there, although I think it may be a little too smelly for the airplane, that I showed, I think it's now a couple of weeks ago, the Jergens lotion burst, and they come in shapes. Right now I can only find 2 scents. One is lavender and I think the other one is like a cherry smell, and they're really convenient because they're solid shapes. They're kind of like a little jelly thing, and they dissolve when you put them on your hands, but they do have a very, very heavy scent. So I'd be cautious about taking them on the plane, but I'm going to keep an eye out to see if there's something else that's similar to that is coming on the market, or if y'all happen to see anything that is similar to that doesn't have quite such a strong smell, let us know in the comments below, because that's a great option for when you are flying. We just have a few more items left in here. I have another thing of eye drops that are already open in here. I have a little mini set of tweezers, and I'm not exactly sure why I put those in there, but they're in there. I guess it's nice to have, you know, you always get, or at least not, you may not get it, I get it. I'll get like that one stiff hair that shows up like right here, and it'll show up all of a sudden out of the blue. So it's kind of nice to have these to be able to take care of it, because otherwise I will sit there, I don't know about you, I will sit there and I'll play with that thing. It just drives me crazy. So having the tweezers to be able to pluck that out immediately is kind of nice. I don't know that you necessarily need it in your freshen up kit, but you know, something to think about. I have a little makeup remover pad. So if you are flying overnight and you want to get your makeup off, have a bit of a cleaner face, you could use that. And then last but definitely not least, probably the most used item out of my freshen up kit is my lip balm. And this is my current favorite SPF lip balm. It's by Tatcha. Tatcha, I think is how you pronounce it. It's a Japanese company. Ulta does sell these. They have, I think, 4 different tints. It's either 3 or 4 different tints. This is, I think, the Camellia Rose. It's a really pretty red-ish color. It doesn't really go on as saturated as it looks on there, but oh man, this stuff, it feels so good on your lips, so moisturizing. I'm probably a little addicted at this point. So that is everything in the Freshen Up kit. Now let's move to my electronics kit. And this is the kit that probably changes the most every time I pack my personal item bag. For this trip, I didn't really need to have a whole lot of electronics with me. It's a relatively, well, it should be a relatively short trip from North Carolina to Puerto Rico, but we had a long layover, and it ends up being about, I think it ended up being about a 7-hour, 8-hour travel day. But I still really didn't need all that much stuff because I decided I was just going to read a book on the plane. But I wanted to show you the things that I did pack. The first thing I'm going to show you is that I packed my over-the-ear headphones for this trip. Now, generally speaking, on a trip this short, I would probably just bring my little Soundbeats earbuds to travel with. But since I'm going to be working this, because I'm here for 6 weeks and I'm going to be working the whole time, I really wanted my over-the-ear headphones to be able to use for work. So those were what I opted to bring on this trip. Otherwise, I would have definitely just come with the earbuds if I was only going to be here a week or 2 weeks, because these do take up a lot of space and it wasn't that long of a flight. For longer flights, I definitely pack these because I want to be able to wear them to, you know, drown out the sounds, especially if there's a baby crying in the background or something. I love my Bose over-the-ears headphones. I think I talked about these a lot last year, and maybe I got these on sale during the Prime Day sale in July. So if you are thinking about getting some, maybe hold off and wait until July if you can. When they do usually have them on sale for like $100 off. So it's a really good deal. And then the other electronics item, so I always bring some sort of headphones, I guess is basically what I was saying there. I either have the over-the-ears headphones or I have my earbuds. And the other item, electronics item, if you want to call it that I always bring is my Kindle, because most of the time, I am reading a book when I am on the plane. And the other times I'm either working on editing videos or I am watching a movie myself. But the majority of the time, I would say 80% of the time, I am reading a book, because I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but reading a book when you're on a plane, I already feel like I'm time traveling when I'm flying somewhere anyway. And then if you're into a really good book, I don't know, it just takes the whole time travel feeling to another level. Am I the only one that feels that? I don't know. I just did that out of body experience when you travel. It sort of takes your mind to a whole different place. Let me know if you feel that way, because I do feel a little crazy talking about that on YouTube. So the other things that I have in my little electronics pouch, I kept it really pretty simple, a power bank. And remember, there are some rules about power banks that have changed over the past year or so. So you want to confirm whether your airline needs you to have your power bank out on your tray table when you are using it. This one is a magnetic one, so it magnetically attaches to my phone. So it's on my phone anyway, and it's out. I don't have it. I don't really use the cable on it for too much. There aren't a whole lot of items that I need to be charging, especially on a short flight like we had coming to Puerto Rico. This is the Anchor Nano charger, and I've really enjoyed using this. I've been using this a lot on the hikes because we're in places where we don't have service, so the phone will run down a lot more quickly when you don't have service. So I will put this on the back of the phone when we are hiking. Also, I will have everything that I am talking about that I can find links for today, I will have linked down in the description and the first pinned comment below. So if you want to check anything out, that will be the place to go find it. So the next thing that I bring is, well, there's the Policia, I think, or somebody's car alarm going off, because of course that's what happens when you try to film here. Oh, yay, it went off. Okay, the alarm is now off. So moving on to the next thing that I have in my electronics kit is just a little block, charging block. And this is just one that kind of came with my Anchor charger, so I threw that in, but any little charging block will do. And then the cable that I have that I'll put with it is my 3-in-1, whoops, all the things coming out. I have one of these 3-in-1 charging cables. So I no longer have an iPhone that uses the lightning, whoops, there's the lightning thing, but I do have friends in my daughter's phone that still has the lightning charging cable. So it is nice to have that available for other people. And then of course I have the C, which is the common charging in these days. And then the old USB-A, I think is what that one is called. Yeah, I think that's the USB-A. That is what charges up my Kindle. So I do like having the ability to have all three of the charging connectors, I think that's what you would call them, available when I am traveling, because you just never know, especially with my Kindle and my phone are the two things that I want to make sure that I keep charged up, and that will do that for me. And then the other two things that I actually am carrying in this, and this is part of my little, it's called Mytagalong Pouch system, and it's a zippered system. You've seen it, I've shown it a couple of times. You could put your freshen up kit in the other half of this. That's not how I packed for this trip, so I can't show that to you. I went to look and see if I had brought the other section of this, but I did not for this trip. But you could do the freshen up in one of these and then your electronics in the other and have them kind of connected together, which would make it actually make more sense if you wanted to do it that way. I didn't, so this is real life. So the other two items that I have in here are an extra pair of reading glasses and a pen, just in case I need that on the plane. So that rounds up all of my electronics. And then the last kit that I pack, and I'm using the word kit very broadly here, is an extra set of clothes. This is something that is going to be very different depending on what kind of trip that you are taking. Most of the time, what I am packing in my extra clothing pack or kit is just an extra pair of underwear, an extra pair of socks if it's someplace that I'm wearing a lot of socks, a shirt, and perhaps a pair of leggings. That the leggings may or may not go in there, but the socks, the underwear, and another top are almost consistently what is in my extra clothing kit. For this trip, because I was coming to Puerto Rico, I did check my bag, but I also had to carry on. Again, I'm here for 6 weeks, so I have a lot more stuff than I would normally travel with for a 1 to 2 week trip. I'm digital nomading. I'm not backpacking around. Clearly, I'm filming a video while I'm here, so I had to bring all the things. I still wanted to make sure If for whatever reason that I got to Puerto Rico without any of my clothes, because most of my clothes were in my checked suitcase, I just wanted to make sure that I got to Puerto Rico that I had something in my extra clothing pack that I could wear. So the things that I packed for this trip, because I was wearing shoes with socks, so I had tennis shoes with socks on the plane. I packed a pair of flip-flops. I packed my extra pair of underwear. I packed a bathing suit, a pair of shorts, and a tank top. So those were the things that I had in the extra clothing to make sure that if I arrived and my clothing did not arrive, that I at least had something that I could wear for the next couple of days, especially since we were traveling from 18 degrees in North Carolina with ice on the ground when we left, the day that we left at the end of January, and we arrived in Puerto Rico to sunny and 80 degrees outside. Absolutely wanted to make sure that I had things that I could change out of my winter clothing and into something where I wasn't going to get super sweaty. Let's get ready for almost any travel emergency with this oh shit travel kit. My goal on this channel is to help you live out your travel dreams with confidence and a lot less stress. And there's nothing more stressful when you're traveling than an unexpected emergency. Even the most minor emergency can throw you for a loop if you're in a country where you don't know the language or where you might not be able to find the product you need to fix the problem. So today we're going to go through my oh shit travel kit that I try to remember to carry with me on every trip. And when you know that the times that I have forgotten to throw it in is when I've actually really needed it. Before I start going over everything that I have packed in here, I do want to say up front that this is not an extensive emergency kit and that there may be some items that are more important for me to have for certain emergencies that may not be as important to you. And you might have some emergency items that don't really resonate with me. But that being said, I would love to hear what you do pack in your oh shit kits in the comments below, because I am always learning new tips from you. In here, I have divided my kit into 5 different categories. We have personal care and hygiene, health and wellness, skincare, emergency repairs, and a little comfort kit. So we are going to start going through this with each individual little kit, but I wanted to point out any pouch will do. This is just one that was a set of 3 that I got off of Amazon, and it is really nice. It's got the clear plastic in the front and then kind of a nylon water resistant backing. And I'll have everything that I can find links to linked below in the comments in the description area below the video. But let's get started with the personal hygiene. Let's see, I can find that in here, and that is this one. So each kit I just put in these little snack bags, and I had somebody mention in my video on the DIY little mini toiletry kit that they had never seen these little square snack bags before. I think I got these at the dollar store. They are not like the Ziploc brand, or they're not a brand name. They are like some sort of generic brand, and I'm not sure. I'll see if I can find this size that I can link to as well, because they are very convenient. And this is I think this is a better snack size to pack in than the more rectangular snack size bags that you usually see in the grocery stores. So inside my little personal care and hygiene, I have hand sanitizer. So just a few little packets of hand sanitizer. I do want to point out that as we are going through these, the amounts that I have of each of these items is just enough to get me through the emergency period. And if I need to have more, then I will go back either to the hotel and get more or find a pharmacy. Think of this as like your spare tire on your car. You're just gonna have enough to get you to where you need to go in order to fix the real problem. So this is just a 4 little things of hand sanitizer that I have in here to get me through a flight or to get me through a day of touring around. I have 2 little mini toothbrushes. I have some Listerine breath tabs. I sometimes will put in breath mints, but these are so tiny, take up so little space. And not only are they great for, you know, making your breath smell good, they're also really good for killing some bacteria in your mouth. I have some bug repellent wipes, and I have some Kleenex. That's kind of shoved in here. So just one of these little flat packs of Kleenex. The thicker ones are a little hard to get in here, but this has like 4 or 5 Kleenexes in there, which should be plenty to get me through whatever I need to get through. I have these little expandable sponges. I got these from Trader Joe's. I don't know if I'll be able to find a link for these, but these are so cool. So if you need to clean something off, or, you know, instead of a little towelette, I mean, they're so thin and they take up little space. So I have 2 of those in there. I have a couple of things of little eye drops, that they're eye drops. And lastly in here, I have a small little thing of lip balm, like just a nice little cocoa butter lip balm. This does not have SPF in it. If you wanted to, like, maybe get one that has SPF to protect your lips, but for just to have something to put on your lips if they're getting really chapped and dry, a nice small little thing of chapstick. In fact, I saw in CVS today these little mini baby Burt's Bees lip balms, and I almost got that to put in here, but I was like, I already have 1,000 things of lip balm. I don't need another one. So I did not buy that to show you, but they are available in even smaller sizes than that. Okay, so that is our little personal care kit. Next up, I am going to show you the next thick, or the really big one. So this is the health and wellness kit. And in here, I have like the things to take care of, you know, those things that might happen to you, that would, like diarrhea or an allergy attack or nausea from motion sickness. That's kind of what this bag, or if you feel a cold coming on. So the first thing I have is my little pill container in here. And sometimes I won't have that in this little baggie. I'll actually carry this separately in my purse so it's easier to get a hold of. But inside here, I just have like some ibuprofen, some Aleve, some anti-diarrhea Imodium stuff. I have some Dramamine. So all those like things that are the most likely to happen to you when you are traveling, I have that readily available in my little pill kit here. Then I have some cough drops. So just a little baggie. I love these little silicone baggies to put, you know, just a few things in if you don't want to carry the whole box. You know, this makes things more slimline, so you don't have to end up with a whole lot of bulk in here. In this little baggie, I have a thing of Wonder Belly tablets. So this is an antacid alternative to like Tums. I like the Wonder Belly products a lot better. They feel a little more, they taste better to me. They don't have as much chemicals. They're more natural products. So I just have a few of those in there for antacid issues. These are some Zicam gummies. So if you feel a cold coming on, you can immediately start taking your Zicam. I have some Benadryl tablets in here because if you have been around for a long time, you have heard this story, but I haven't told it for a while. When I was in Japan, we went to a fish market, and something made me have an allergy attack, and it took us quite a while to hunt down a pharmacy that actually had some medicine that I could take to stop that allergy attack. I mean, eyes watering, pouring, couldn't stop sneezing, was having a hard time breathing. Have no idea what I got into. But if I had some Benadryl with me, I could have immediately taken care of it. So I do carry Benadryl with me everywhere I go. Even though it knocks me out, it's still good to have. I have some ginger chews in here, ginger candy, so in case I start getting nauseous, I can start chewing on one of those. I have a couple of vitamin C packets. So again, if I start feeling like I'm getting sick, I can drink one of those and hopefully ward off whatever's happening. I have some Band-Aids. With the Band-Aids, I also have an alcohol prep pad. Oh my gosh, that's hard to say. Alcohol prep pads to clean off anything if I like skin a knee or get a cut. I have some blister pads. And finally, I have my little wristbands that I use for motion sickness, especially when I'm on a bus. Those buses will get me almost every single time. So we'll put everything back in here. Let's see if I can get this closed again. So that is the bulkiest one. All that healthcare, all that health prevention stuff takes up a lot of space. So stomach, allergies, nausea, and cold prevention is basically what is in here. So this next one is for skincare. And this one might be one that you may decide that you don't really need, but it is kind of nice to have these things along just in case you do end up needing them. So the first thing is a solid stick of sunscreen. I love the Beach Bum, and this is their Baby's Mineral 50, and it's such a nice tiny little size. It's perfect. I have a couple of deodorant wipes in here in case you get a little stinky and you want to like do a wipe down. I have a little sample thing of tinted facial sunscreen from Elta MD that I have just stuck in there too. I have some Q-tips, little Q-tips, just like 10 of those in there. And then lastly, I have these cute little lotion stars from Jergens. It's something new. I just saw these the other day, so I thought, oh, that's kind of handy. So they're like a little solid star, and then you take it out and you mush it in your hands and it turns into lotion. These happen to smell like lavender. They do have a little bit of a strong smell, and it is lavender, so it's not usually very offensive to people, but people who have a scent issue, it's on the verge for me of like being a little too strong. So I don't know that I would recommend pulling these out in the middle of a flight and putting them on your hands, but they are kind of cute. I'm gonna see if I can find some of these that don't have as strong a scent, and I'll put those in my kit. But for now, like when you're touring around and you're out all day, these would be fine. But with the lavender too, they're kind of nice to have to put on at night, you know, give you that nice little nighttime lavender smell that's supposed to help you sleep. Okay, whoops, I'm throwing things on the floor. Oh my gosh. So we're gonna put this stuff back in here. And next up is our repair kit. And this has kind of a variety of different things in here too, as they all seem to do. I do have a little emery board. I have multiple little hair ties. I have a little sewing kit that's in here. I have some super glue. Put the stuff in my lap so I don't drop it. Safety pins, just a variety of sizes of safety pins. I have some little Shout wipes, so if you get something on your clothes, you can use those to wipe it off. And lastly, in here, I have this cute little pair of tiny little tweezers. And this came in like a set of 4. Again, I bought these at Walgreens. I'm hoping that I'll be able to find a link for them because they are adorable. I love these little things. And that is it for the repair kit. I mean, pretty much you got everything you need to break a nail. You've got some super glue to glue it back together, or an emery board if you need to like file down your nails, and multiple other uses for that. And then just this cute little sewing kit in case you need to make a repair on the run. The safety pins and the Shout are probably the things I've used the most. The safety pins I've used when I've had like straps come apart on a bag and I've needed to use the safety pin to hook it back together to get me back somewhere where I can get another bag and not have to use that bag that's broken. The last bag is a comfort bag, and I've just added things that I got from my little comfort kits from the airplanes. So I've got a pair of earplugs from Delta, and then I've got an eye mask that I think is also from Delta. So it's not one of my nice eye masks. I've just got like one of these disposable ones, just in case I end up somewhere where I really need to have some quiet and darkness. And then the last thing I have in here is an extra pair of underwear because, you know, when you're eating all that strange food and you haven't had a chance to take that Imodium yet, if it upsets your stomach, you might need these. So definitely something these days that goes with me pretty much everywhere is an extra set of underwear. So the last thing that I have in here is something that probably would have gone in the repair baggie if I had had room for in the repair baggie. And that is a pin that has a bunch of duct tape wrapped around it so you can peel the duct tape off and use it if you need to use the duct tape to repair something. And then a pin if you need to fill out any paperwork or maybe give somebody your phone number. You never know. So we're going to put everything back in here, and then I'm going to show you how this does fit in the travel purse that I've been using lately, you know, so that you can see that it is something that you can carry around with you, easily fit in a backpack for sure, that you can carry this around with you daily for, again, those little emergencies that might happen when you are out and about. Here is the pouch all done. Here is one of my new favorite purses that I've been using. This is the Low & Sons Aomi. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce the name of the bag, but it is one of my favorite bags. And this just fits right in here. And there's still a ton of space in there to fit other things. My wallet and my glasses are already in there. There's room for a water bottle, and really you wouldn't need a whole lot else. Maybe another extra little expandable bag if you were thinking about buying some souvenirs. And there you go. Although this is by no means a complete list of everything that you could pack to be prepared for any emergency, it does cover most of the common, or at least for me, common situations that might happen on any given trip, especially stomach issues, motion sickness, and pretty much anything to ward off a cold or virus. But let me know what you would eliminate or add to your kit in the comments. Well, there you go, a roundup of some of my most popular packing videos. I'd love to know if you found any great new hacks to use, or perhaps you have a great travel hack that I didn't cover that you can share with us in the comments below. If you are looking for more masterclass style videos like this one, check one of these out next. Thank you again for choosing to watch this video today. I hope that you have safe and wonderful travels.